Our webinar will begin right now. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for participating on our monthly webinars. My name is Andrea. I represent Minoria, and Minoria is a company that's genuinely interested in helping disadvantaged businesses. And one of the assistance or advocacies that we provide, and resources that we provide, are these monthly webinars to get educated and be able to be prepared for opportunities, contracting opportunities, as you build your capacity. And today's topic is a very important topic, as any situation when it comes to security guidelines and cybersecurity can jeopardize a business significantly if you become a victim. So today, our guest speaker is Natalia Kostrita. Did I say it right, Natalia?
Close enough.
She's a business consultant with TPX. TPX is an award-winning managed service provider that specializes in cybersecurity and telecommunications. Natalia has over 15 years of experience in advising businesses on affordable cybersecurity, secure cybersecurity and telecommunication solutions. Thank you so much, Natalia, for being a participant and a guest speaker with us. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to be benefiting off of your information. But before we begin, and before I let you start your presentation, I would like to go over some of the information that's necessary in regards of communication with the audience. If for any reason the audience does have some questions throughout the presentation, please reserve your questions and add them to the Q&A section that's on the bottom or the top bar of your screen. If you have any type of connection issues or technical issues, feel free to write down those issues on the chat box, and Mauricio, that's here with us, he's a team member, is going to help us with providing solutions to your technical situation. So any registrant that is participating or not participating for some reason to this presentation will have a copy of the recording and the slides if requested. In most cases, we also do a follow-up email with the information. So just to let you know, in case that might be one of your questions. All right, I think I wrapped it up in regards of how our presentation is going to go about. Natalia, this audience is all yours.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and also, thank you, Andrea and Mauricio, for having me. So I want to talk a little bit about cybersecurity. Not sure if all of you are aware, but last month, October, was actually Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So we're a little behind the bar, but that's okay. So what I have prepared today is it's 9 tips for 9 cybersecurity tips that every business should follow. So let's start with number 1. So number 1 is actually to conduct a security risk assessment. So go ahead and click. I think there's some words that need to come down so everybody can kind of be on the same page here. There we go. So you want to understand what are your most critical threats to your business. So what has the most impact on your business? So for some, it's going to be natural disasters. We're here in California. I'm sure most of you are as well. And, we have fires. I mean, these fires are everywhere. I mean, there was fires that were in, the middle of downtown LA not too long ago, as well as there's earthquakes that we deal with as well. So these types of natural disasters could leave a business, shut down for days, even weeks at a time. As well as, system failures. What if your equipment is to fail? What do you do? How long does it take you to recuperate from something like that? As well as there's also malicious human actions. Sometimes we think that those only come from outside threats. That's typically the case, but sometimes there's inside jobs. And are you protected against those types of threats as well, both internal and external threats? So that's definitely something you want to think about and make sure that you have those policies in place for some sort of security breach if that were to take place. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, you have to train your employees. You want to conduct employee security awareness trainings across the entire workforce to make sure that your employees are really educated on common scams and how to avoid those scams. Not everybody is, part of this new generation that's just had computers their entire life and know what to click on and what not to click on. So it's really important that we learn those types of techniques. So, for example, I'm sure everybody's seen one of those scam emails. I know even my own, I've even had people receive emails that said that they were from me. So it'll say my name. In this instance, it said my name, but then if you looked at the email address, it was just some weird email address that had nothing to do with me. So these cyber criminals are getting more and more smarter and smarter every single day. So it's important to make sure that you're on the up and up to what these criminals, what type of tactics they're actually utilizing. Go ahead and click. I think there's some statistics down here. So according to, if you go back, actually, yeah, there we go. According to Cisco in the, I guess last year, so 2021, cybersecurity threat trends reported that about 90% of all data breaches occurred due to a phishing attack. So a phishing attack are those emails, like I mentioned, that go out to individuals. They may look like somebody that they could also look like a company, like Target. I've seen them from Target. I've seen them from Starbucks. All these types of logos, big logos, these cybersecurity criminals will utilize to get you to try to click on what's there. It may even look like it's coming from your company internally. So keep those things in mind. We move on to number 3. So number 3, so you want to use multiple layers of protection. So you want to make sure that you have for your business a password policy that requires strong passwords, and monitor your employees' accounts for breaches on the dark web, because that's the last thing you want to happen is for somebody to get those passwords and go on and sell them on the dark web. Go ahead and click on it for me, Andrea. Deploy a firewall. That's number 1. The firewall protects you from outside intrusions trying to get into your network. Also, make sure that if people are working off site and they're accessing, your network, you want to make sure that they're utilizing a VPN tunnel, as well as make sure that you have antivirus technologies to ensure your network and endpoints are not vulnerable to attacks. Go ahead and click one more time. And then you also want to consider having a multi-factor authentication and an ongoing network monitoring and hard drive encryption. So I know those are a lot of things to think about, but the multi-factor authentication can sometimes be annoying, but it is really what will save your business in the long run. So number 4, keep your software up to date. Unpatched or out-of-date software allows a breach in your security. Cyber criminals exploit software vulnerabilities using a variety of tactics to gain access to computers and data. So a lot of times when these patches are put out, it's because of the fact that there's been some sort of breach that the software manufacturer has discovered, and they're trying to protect you from that. Go ahead and click on it for me again. And don't forget about phone systems. So if you have an on-premise phone system, you want to make sure that that's still up to date, that you're receiving patches on that, and mobile phones are up to date as well. So back in 2019, I met with a business whose bank account had been hacked through his outdated end-of-life phone system. So they actually, it's crazy what they can do. It's similar. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years back, they did something similar to Target where they were able to access their credit card system through their refrigeration. So anything that's on Wi-Fi nowadays, which is like just about everything. I mean, I know in my house, it's like I have vacuum cleaners that are on Wi-Fi and I have thermostats that are on Wi-Fi. So all of these devices need to be up to date, because if not, you're just opening the door to these cyber criminals. So with my customer, they access their bank account information and transferred a bunch of money to some outside bank account. So just make sure your phone systems are not too old and still getting manufacturer updates. All right, number 5, create straightforward cybersecurity policies. Write and distribute a clear set of rules and instructions on cybersecurity practices for your employees. This will vary from business to business, but may include policies on social media use, bring your own device, authentication requirements, and more. Number 6, back up your data. You want to make sure that you're backing things up daily or more frequently if you can. It just depends on how much information you're really willing to lose, right? If there was some sort of malfunction with your servers or devices. Backups are required to recover from your data corruption or a loss from security breaches. The rule of thumb is typically that you want to have 3 separate backups. 2 of those can typically be on site, and one a cloud-based backup you also want to have. There was a story that I saw, and it was back in April of 2019, and it was a Michigan-based medical practice that had to actually close their office because they refused to pay the ransom that the hackers were requesting. So, it wasn't their mistake was not having a proper backup. It wasn't that they refused to pay the ransom. You don't want to have to be in that situation where you're forced to pay that ransom. But if you have the proper backup, then you could definitely avoid that. Also, enable your uptime. Choose a powerful data protection solution that enables instant recovery of data and application. We all heard that saying before, time is money. So any application downtime can significantly impact a business's ability to generate revenue. So you got to think, if something goes down, how many employees do you have that are there on staff? Are they able to do their work? If not, then that's just, if everybody's just sitting around, then that's just money kind of dripping down the drain because they can't do anything and you're still having to pay them to be there. All right, next slide. Number 8, know where your data resides. The more places that you have your data, the more likely it is that unauthorized individuals will be able to access it. So make sure that you know where everything is. There's even uh, software out there that can warn you if somebody's downloaded something that they shouldn't have downloaded. So just keep that in mind. Know what people are doing with your data too. All right, so number 9. So this is the last one. So control access to computers. Each access point poses an individual risk. So limit employee access to specific data they need to perform their jobs. Plus, any administrative privileges should only be given to your trusted staff members. So that kind of goes hand in hand with, creating these policies, who has access to this stuff and who doesn't. So cybersecurity, as you guys can see, cybersecurity is a problem that is real. It's not a matter of if you're going to be hit with a cyber attack, but it's a matter of when. 51% of businesses have already been hit with some sort of cyber attack. And it's really a problem that faces everyone. Attacks can impact any type and size of organization. A lot of times nowadays, it's easier for them to target a smaller business where these cyber criminals used to only target these larger corporations. Well, now they've kind of changed that because they realize it's easier to get into a smaller business because they don't have all of the resources put into place as these larger companies do now. And this problem is only something that's getting worse. In 2018, ransomware attacks grew by 350%. And email attacks grew by 250%, and spear phishing by 70%. And these statistics, those are older statistics. Now it's even worse. Like post-COVID, since there were so many employees that were working remotely or a hybrid work policies, those numbers have grown significantly because of the fact that at somebody's home, they don't have all of these policies in place. It's even less than what they have at the office, right? So, don't feel like you have to go at it alone. TPX can assist. So if there's plenty of services that we provide. We assist with cybersecurity. We also assist with backups, managing firewalls, managing endpoints. We even have free assessments out there if you just don't know what's going on your network and you want somebody to take a look at it. I know we did one of those assessments for Monaria. Sometimes it's surprising what you find out. I had one customer that found out that he thought he was maxing out his internet usage, and he said, I need more internet. And we ran the assessment for him, and he found out that 90% of his internet traffic was being utilized by YouTube. So it wasn't even people utilizing it for work. So he didn't really need to increase his internet speed. He just needed to increase his policies that he had in place. We also can assist with phone service. If you have a phone system, we could assist with the connectivity for it. Or if you're in the market for a new phone system, we could assist with that. We even provide internet service too. So just about anything that's IT related, we can assist with. So that's all I have for you. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
Thank you, Natalia. I mean, that was great information. And I do see that we have a couple of questions. I'm gonna go ahead and ask or recite those questions, but after I'll probably have more questions myself. So get prepared. So I have Victor Olguin, and he explains if I get cyber attacked, who should I contact first, and how can they find out?
Well, it kind of depends on I mean, obviously you want to get yourself up and running from the get-go, so hopefully you have those, you have a plan, a disaster recovery plan, as what I would like to call it. And then, depending on the type of crime, you'd want to actually contact, there's a whole division that the FBI has, as well as the sheriff's department. I actually have that information. I could, let me see, hold on a second. I actually have it right here. Yeah, so in the city of Los Angeles, there's a cyber task force, and that's who you would call. They're actually part of the FBI. I don't have their direct number, but I'm sure you could probably Google it. It's just called the LA Cyber Task Force. And like I said, they're part of the FBI. And there is a website that you can open the report on. So that website is the letter I, the letter C, the number 3.gov. So IC3.gov. And that's where you can actually open that cyber report.
Okay, perfect.
And hopefully you have a good IT person that does provide the remediation service for you. A lot of companies don't do that. I mean, they'll kind of take the initiative and provide you with some of the general type of stuff, but not everybody's skilled at actually remediating and get you back up and running when there is a breach in your cybersecurity.
When just as an additional question, when you get cyber attacked, did you realize right away that you're attacked, or does it go in different levels?
There's definitely different levels of it. A lot of times what they do is they put like spyware on your devices. You can pick this, you can get attacked by even visiting a Starbucks and using the Wi-Fi there, or any sort of public Wi-Fi that's open like that. They could actually put this software onto your computer, and then a lot of times they're monitoring. They want to see how you do things. They want to see your verbiage that you utilize in emails. They want to see what type of files you're sending back and forth. They're really monitoring you. They'll be able to see things like your bank account balance, and they know from that point how much money to ask for, right? So those are some of the things that they do. So it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, that they're there just kind of watching you.
Wow, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I have another question. What is the best practice in small business to protect the business and personal information? We have 2 laptops, and these laptops are used by 5 in the day-to-day basis. So it's the owner and 4 employees.
Um, you know, you want to make sure that your cybersecurity is essentially stacked. So it starts with the firewall to prevent, outside people from getting into your network. And then you also want to make sure that your computers are protected as well. So if somebody did get in, because it still does happen, then are your devices protected? Making sure that you have antivirus software, that the antivirus software is up to date, that the operating system is also patched and up to date, as well as if something did happen, okay, where are my backups? What type of backups do I have? If you're sharing these devices, you want to make sure that people have their individual login and password so that you're able to monitor things and if you're the owner of the business, there's certain files that you don't want some employees to access possibly. So making sure that those files are protected too, as well as if something did happen, how are you going to get back up and running? Do you know how to remove that that ransomware, or do you know how to remove that virus from your computer? And not all antivirus softwares are created equally as well. Remember that. You want to look for something called next gen antivirus, and it needs to have a 0-day threat policy. So that's really important as well, because sometimes there's brand new viruses that come out, and you want to make sure that your antivirus software can handle that new virus.
Okay, great.
So if you want to learn more too, I mean, I'm glad to schedule a meeting and do a free consultation with you and learn more about your environment and give, my recommendations too.
Perfect. Victor has a follow-up question. How long does it take for them to recover any data? I guess if you're cyber attacked or you're attacked ransomware, does it take long, or can you even recover the data?
So it depends on a few things. It's going to depend on your backup. It's going to depend on what type of cyber attack that they hit you with. But I mean, with some of the tools that we have with our backup, I could have the business back up and running in a minute or two. That's even if the servers themselves, if the server even had a malfunction, let's say, a hard drive went out or a fan went out or something like that, I could have the business back up and running in 2 minutes.
Well, so it just depends on the support that you have
The
at
support you have and the backups, what type of security measures you have in place.
got it. Joel Benitez says or is asking, is it absolutely necessary to implement passwords for all business apps and programs, office, emails, etc.?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you definitely need to have passwords in place. It's just like I mean, do you want to lock the doors at your house? I know most of us probably do, right? So I mean, that's at least a password is a first level of security for those applications. People can steal information from the applications that you utilize, depending on what the application is and depending on the type of business that you have. They could definitely they steal passwords even. I mean, they do all sorts of crazy things, and it puts your business at risk. I mean, what if somebody were to gather your customers' information? You may think that's not valuable to them, but it really is. They have a list of addresses, phone numbers, names, email addresses that they go on the dark web and they sell that information, and people will buy it. And I don't know why they buy it, but for some reason they want that information. So it is very important that you have passwords put into place and that your passwords are strong. You don't want to use the same password for every application. I know I've kind of fell victim to that previously, but the easiest way to remember a password is to make it like a small sentence, the dog ran after the ball or something a little smaller maybe, but have those types of small sentences put in place so that they're easy to remember, but hard for somebody else to try and guess.
Yeah, and I think there are certain applications now that even have the password
Yes, there's password managers that you could
manager.
utilize.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and then the 2-point verifications usually are that's in for the majority of the applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and I think, oh, we have another question. Um, and as a boss, it's from Joe. And as a boss, should should all the employees know these passwords? Is it recommended for all the employees to know these passwords? I guess it just depends on the.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what you want these passwords to be on a need to know type of basis. If somebody does not need access to that application, then no, I would not give them the password to that application. I mean, even if it's something that's really private information, like I don't know, your banking information or your QuickBooks, no, I wouldn't have anybody have access to that unless they absolutely needed it. Other than that, then I'm probably, if they do need access, maybe on a rare occasion, then I would probably try to input that password for them. Because, passwords are private. It's like your social security number almost. You don't just give that out to anybody that asks for it.
Okay. Well, I think that's it in regards of the questions that the audience has. Well, they asked really good questions. So they probably covered more than half of my questions, but I would like to see if you could provide a little more clarity in regards of who really needs this type of security, because there's a lot of small businesses that think that because they're small businesses, they might not need an elaborate security system or security actions on their devices, and sometimes that's not the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a couple of layers of protection. You need endpoint protection to protect your devices, and every business needs a firewall. Especially if you take like credit cards, there's certain compliances that you've agreed that you're going to have in place to protect your customers' information, and that's one of them is that you have a firewall for sure. So if you're taking credit cards, then you for sure need to have a firewall. That's why I meet with businesses individually and put together a custom plan for them, because it really just depends. I mean, are you willing to lose all of the information that's on your devices and start from scratch? Would your business survive that? Because if somebody gets into one of the computers on your network, they're going to essentially get into all of them because they're connected on the same network. So are you willing to lose the information on all of your devices? That's the question.
Yeah.
So if you can't and you think that if I lost this information, it would cripple my business, then you're probably right. Most about 70% of businesses that don't have these cybersecurity measures in place, they end up going out of business after an attack like that because they can't recuperate that information. Where do you start from? We can't remember the hundreds and thousands of customers that we have, can we?
Hmm. And what about if these companies right now, I guess the cloud-based storage and cloud-based communication is the thing. So you can access all the information within minutes, and live anywhere and with any device. Is that a better security? Is there better security measures in regards of that? Is there the risk of losing the information now that it's in a cloud-based system?
It can be. We want to make sure that it's a reputable cloud-based system, right? Like, I mean, obviously, the Office 365 is something that's reputable. Just kind of going back to making sure that you do still have extremely secure passwords, because that's where the pitfall comes with utilizing those cloud-based applications. is that it is easier, a little easier for people to gain access to your passwords. And once they have access to their passwords, just once they have access to your password, then just as easy as it is for you to sign in, it's just that easy for them to sign in. And what they do is they go in and they change your passwords. They change the email that you have on file so that you can access that information. So it's it's not a foolproof method. It is something that is still something that can be hacked.
Yeah.
And what they do is they put on your device, once they get into your device, they put um, a key logging software on there. And what that does is it captures all of the keys that you're punching in, and then they determine at that point what is a password and what is, an email or whatever it might be. They can figure it out.
Wow.
They're really smart, these people. I mean, they should be working for like the FBI and the CIA and trying to help this stuff, but instead they found an easy way to make money off of it.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Natalia, for this presentation, for letting us know of how to get protected and really think about our security measures when it comes to sharing information. And especially now that with COVID, with the COVID impact, everybody has reconsidered the idea of working from home. It's very important to take measures and sort of have that monitoring process through those devices. In regards of that situation, if you, let's say there's an employee that ends up coming to the office, and then they go take their laptop to home, and like you mentioned, there's sometimes your home doesn't really have, it just has the Wi-Fi and it might not have the protection you need. What are the risks and what would be the solutions involved in that situation?
Yeah, so making sure, well, the risks are, I mean, the networks are not as secure, so it's much easier for a cyber criminal to access a device that's, on an unsecure network than it would be for them to access, something that's behind a firewall and what have you. Um, the solution to that is making sure that you have a next generation antivirus software with the zero threat protection, and that not only you do that, but you have somebody that's actually monitoring it. So that's something that we can actually assist with is monitoring that. We monitor it 24/7, 365. It doesn't affect your device. A lot of people think, well, that's going to slow down my computer. It doesn't, because the software actually lives within the root menus, so you don't even see it. But if there is a security breach, because these hackers, they usually start at, in the middle of the night when they think everybody's sleeping. So at 3 o'clock in the morning while you're sleeping, I have a security operations center where there's, trained individuals that are monitoring these devices and making sure that there's no intrusions.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much. If you need any information, like you mentioned, we are gonna share these slides in the presentation. I do know that on the previous slide, before the questions and answers, and Natalia had her information. And we're sharing our information if in case
Mhm.
you have additional questions that you might have not remembered at this moment, but feel free to connect with us. If you want to connect with Natalia and you want to coordinate anything, you can connect with her directly or reach out to us and we can provide her information. And we highly encourage you to visit and subscribe to our social media platforms, as we are always letting everybody know about the upcoming webinars and education that we're going to be hosting and sometimes sharing from other organizations. And we also have a library of a lot of webinars and mini clips that you can take advantage. And this is in Spanish and English through our YouTube channel, which is minoria.ca. You're welcome to participate and subscribe so you can get the notices of these uploaded videos. And we encourage you to visit our website, minoria.com, to learn a little more of what features and what resources we have available as a business that might need some additional education and solutions for the benefit of your growth. So thank you very much again, Natalia, and I think we're going to be concluding our webinar.
Thank you, Andrea.
Take care. Bye.